Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to go through all of the remaining Shopify settings to make sure that your store is 100% optimized. So this is gonna move through quite fast. You're gonna want to pause the video and follow the steps along with me. We have a lot of things to set up, but they're gonna give you some great benefits. So let's start at the back end of our store and then move down to settings. And we're going to start from the top to make sure that we get everything. So the first things we have is the basic information. If you haven't set your store name already, you are going to want to do that because this is going to show up on emails as well. The address should be set, everything. The one thing we do want to change here is the contact information. So here you have one email that Shopify uses to contact you, or contact me in this case, and that is my regular email. But here's the email that customers can see when I send out emails to them, and that involves all of the templates as well, like order confirmation, order cancellation, sending out their tracking number. All of these things, all of these emails, abandoned carts, etc., are going to show this email, and that's not a very professional email. So what we can do is move down to domains. If you have done this through Shopify, this is a super easy process. Click on the domain that we have bought, and here we're already going to have an email address included. So this email address is going to be forwarded to my regular email, but it's going to show up differently, and info@rnjdeal.com sounds a lot more professional, doesn't it? Especially if you're using a regular Gmail as your regular mail. And a Gmail is gonna get stuck in spam filters and have a bunch of problems. So if you bought your domain on Shopify, this is super easy. Just go ahead and copy this email. I'm just gonna copy it. Go to contact information, click on edit. And then down here, customers see this when you email them. You're just gonna paste in info@rnjdeal.com. And then I'm gonna move to the upper right corner and click on save. There we go. Super, this is a lot more professional. If you bought your domain on GoDaddy, then you need to purchase an email along with that and then just connect it to Shopify and set it up here. Moving down, we have set our store currency already, and then we have standards and formats. Now, interestingly enough, one of the few countries in the world that still use the imperial system is the US. And if you're targeting a US audience, which we are, it's a good idea to change from the metric system to the imperial system. If you're going to be targeting more globally, then you want to use the metric system because most of the world uses the metric system, and for some reason the imperial system is something the US still sticks to. So we're going to choose the imperial system, and the default weight is going to be either pound or ounce, so we're just going to leave that. Format, we don't have to play with this. The prefix is just going to be a hashtag, so it says like order 1001, order 1002, etc. Nothing we need to do. We're going to click on save and then scroll up. Moving on to plan, we've already set our plan here. There's nothing we need to do. Moving on to billing, here's where things get a little bit interesting. Now, if we scroll down, you're gonna see that we have a recent bill. It's super important that you click on this recent bill if you bought a domain or if you bought an app as well. Click on this recent bill and then click on download up here. This invoice is something that you need to put on your Google Drive in the expenses folder. If you remember, if you've gone through the course and you went through the taxes lecture, you'll remember how important it is to gather all of the incomes and expenses from the very beginning. So whenever you have an expense, it's going to show up here. You need to download that invoice. It's going to look like this. Put it under expenses on your drive. I'm gonna click this down for now, and then I'm gonna move back. Scrolling down, we have tax registration. VAT numbers, like we spoke about earlier, is only if you have a business and you are in Europe, then you can add in your VAT number. So then the VAT of the products are going to be removed and show up on the invoices. Now I'm gonna click I don't have a VAT number. Most of you won't because you won't have a business set up. You don't need to do any of that until you have an actual business up and running. That is, you're making money on your store. I'm gonna click on I don't have EU number, and I'm gonna click on confirm. There, so no VAT number. Scrolling down, we have statements of charges. This is just a summary of all of the charges we have, but remember, we need to click here and download the invoices for the taxes. Moving up, we have users and permissions. You can add in staff in here, or if you're planning on doing this with friends, you can add those in here. You can also transfer ownership if you should ever for some reason sell your store. And then there's nothing more that we need to play around with here. Payments, we've already set up up the payment gateway so you already know these settings. And then we have checkout. Now, the checkout is something we haven't customized, but we can do that here. If we click on customize checkout, it's going to take us to this page. And this is almost perfect as it is. I'm saying almost because there is one thing that I really want to change when it comes to this look, and that is this part. You can see it says R&J deal. What we want to do is that we want to set this so that it has our logo instead of just a name. So I'm gonna move to the left where it says open checkout settings, and it's gonna give me a couple of options down here. I'm going to scroll down where checkout is already open, and then to logo, I'm gonna click on select image, then I'm gonna select the logo here, and then I'm going to click on select. There we go. Now this logo is a little bit big. I'm gonna keep it to the left. I think that has a nice look, and that's pretty much all I would do. Now note that you can change pretty much everything in here. You can change the colors of the entire theme if you want. You can change the typography if you really want to deep dive. These aren't the most important things that's gonna make or break your store, so we haven't been spending any time on really going into editing the theme because these are the defaults for a reason. They convert well and they simply work. But this is something that I would really recommend doing. Then I'm gonna click on save, and then I'm going to click on exit and go back. So we're gonna move back to settings, scroll down, click on checkout. There's a couple of more things I wanna change. So customer accounts, they don't need to use accounts. On some stores you can have it so that they need to log in order to make a purchase. For our small stores, that's just gonna be a hurdle and make it harder for customers to purchase, so don't use accounts. Contact method, phone number or email, let's make it simple here and only use their email because most people don't wanna give out their phone numbers today. And then we have select how customers can choose to get shipping updates. I recommend clicking on SMS or email. Now, there is a link to download the Shop app. This is only for the US audience, but still, I think this clutters the checkout and gives them too many options. I recommend just deselecting this and selecting SMS or email to make it really simple, and we've already set up in D-search that they're gonna get an email with the tracking code and everything. So I'm just gonna select this one. Scroll down, customer information only require the last name. It's not mandatory to have the full name, so I'm gonna leave this as it is. Company name, don't include address line, optional, and then shipping address, phone number, don't include it. Again, we just want to minimize unnecessary information fill-in. You can have tipping at the checkout, but that's a very strange thing for an e-commerce. If it was a non-profit, that would make more sense. Scrolling down, when customer is checking out, they're going to be using the same shipping as billing by default. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave all of these. After an order has been paid, don't fulfill any of the order lines automatically. We're gonna go through all of these and make it happen in D-search later on, so we don't need to play with it. Archive the order. Here's where it gets interesting. Let customers subscribe to marketing methods at checkout. Email marketing, yes, but don't pre-select this option. That's illegal in the European Union. Okay, so make sure that this is deselected. It's fine for American customers, but if someone from Europe comes in and this is pre-selected, then it's not valid according to the GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So keep email marketing checked, but don't check this. SMS marketing, I wouldn't clutter with it. Send abandoned checkout emails automatically. So if someone puts in products into their cart and then they don't check out, then we can send them an email as a reminder, say, hey, by the way, you still have these products, do you want to check out? And it has a pretty good conversion rate generally of around 20 to 25%. And it's all automated in Shopify, so we really want to do this. And this is also important. Don't just send to anyone who abandons their checkout, send only to email subscribers, because this, once again, is within the European Union illegal. You can only send an email to people who have agreed to give out their email. These people haven't. Send after 10 hours, perfect. Order status, already taken care of in D-search. And then there's nothing more we need to do. So I'm going to click on save. Scroll up. We have shipping and delivery. We have already gone through this. Taxes and duties, we have already gone through this as well. Locations, we don't have to worry about because we're drop shipping. We're not using a physical location. We can use gift cards, not gonna make or break your store, so we haven't been spending any time of those. Markets, very important here. You may have noticed already that when you did your test order and went to check out, the country and region here only says United States. You can't choose any other country, so you're only limited to selling to the US-based US-based audience right now. But AliExpress ships all over the world and they have fantastic deals. So what you want to do is open up to the rest of the world. So right now it says primary market, that's where we're sending to, and that is why the US is the only option. But down here where it says other markets, it's currently inactive, it's deactivated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move into manage here under other markets, and then we're going to click on edit. And it already has a couple of countries added, but this is a very limited list right now. So what we're gonna do is click on add countries/regions, and I'm gonna add all of Africa. I'm gonna scroll down, I'm gonna add, let's say, all of Asia, Central America, Europe, North America, Oceania, other South America, and then I'm gonna click on down. And then I'm gonna click on save, click on back, and then I'm going to move over to the right and click on activate. So now when we check out the order page, when it only said the US, if I update this, you are now able to get customers from all over the world. So that's quite a difference. And this is a good idea because even if we're going to be focusing on a US audience in the beginning, people are going to start coming from all over the world because you're going to start ranking on Google. The rumor is going to spread. It's just a good idea. And for AliExpress and USPS, they ship really well all over the world. Should you ever have an instance where you noticed in the order that, okay, that was a really miserable shipping to this place, you can always go in here and then click on edit and remove that specific country that you noticed that the shipping was a reasonable price. But AliExpress for most countries have really good shipping deals, so that's a good beginning. There's nothing more we need to play around with here. We're gonna move down to sales channels, and currently the sales channels is our online store. We can add more. For example, we can add Facebook, so we can sell things on Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, etc. Now, you don't need to add this in here to use them. Later on, we're going to be driving traffic with Facebook, and we're going to be focusing on staying on Facebook for that because they have a, in my opinion, better interface. So it doesn't really matter if you add the sales channels here or not, but you can. Moving down, domains, we already connected our domain and updated our email. Notifications, we've gone through these as well. These are automatic email templates for you. What you can do is scroll down all the way to the bottom here, and then you can send a test email to yourself. But again, we already know that it works because we've gotten a ton of marketing from Shopify already. Scrolling back up, we have meta fields. Do you want to change any of the specific names? For example, variants, do you want to call it something else? Do you want to add in some more options? Nothing that I recommend we spend our time on. We have files, and these are going to be all of the files that you upload to Shopify. It's not very important that you go and clear this, but it can make your store heavy and slower over time if you have hundreds of megabytes over time. But for now, no worry whatsoever. Languages, we don't have to play with this. We're going to focus on English and a US-based audience. And finally, policies. We've already gone through policies as well. We set up a refund policy, a privacy policy, terms of service, we did our shipping, and we didn't need a legal notice. And that's it. If you've gone through all of this with me, then congratulations. That was a lot to take in, but well done. We've now optimized our store and we are ready to fulfill our first order properly and automatically. See you in the next lecture.